You feel the sand beneath your bare feet, still warm from yesterday's blood. Somewhere above you, 50,000 voices are screaming your name, a name that isn't even yours anymore. 6 months ago, you were a farmer. Today, you are property, a weapon, a source of entertainment for an empire hungry for spectacle. In your hand, a curved Sika sword feels heavier than it should. Across the sand, another man stares back at you, and only one of you will leave this arena alive. This is what it means to be a Roman gladiator. The story begins before dawn, inside the walls of the Ludus, the gladiator school that has been your prison and your forge for 6 months. You wake in a stone cell barely wide enough to lie down in, the air thick with sweat and old fear. A guard bangs an iron bar against the door. Time to train. You were not always this. Before the debts, before the auction block, you had a name, a family, a small plot of land near Capua. Rome does not care what you were. Rome only cares what you can become. You rise, your body a map of bruises and old scars, each one a lesson written in pain. In the courtyard, other men gather, Thracians, Gauls, Germans, fellow Romans who fell as low as you did. You are all different men from different worlds, bound now by the same fate. Your trainer, the Doctore, a former gladiator himself, missing 2 fingers from a fight he barely survived, walks the line, inspecting you like cattle. He stops in front of you. Today, he says, you fight in the games of Titus. The words hit harder than any blow you've taken in training. This is not a drill. This is real. The morning is a blur of preparation. You eat a thick barley porridge, the gladiator's diet, meant to build layers of fat over muscle, padding against the cuts that are coming. You oil your body until your skin gleams. Armorers fit you with a manica, a leather and metal arm guard, and a bronze greave for your left leg. Your helmet, heavy and enclosed, will protect your face, but block half your vision, a trade every gladiator learns to accept. Outside the Ludus walls, the streets of Rome are already alive. Merchants shout prices for wine and bread. Children chase each other past temple steps. Wealthy senators are carried by on litters, their eyes catching yours for only a moment before looking away, as if you are already a ghost. You are marched through the city in chains, part parade, part warning. Crowds gather along the road, some cheering, some spitting, some simply staring at the men who will die for their entertainment tonight. You catch sight of the Colosseum rising above the rooftops, its arches swallowing the morning light, and your stomach tightens. It is more massive than you remembered, a monument built on the bones of men like you. Inside, the machinery of death runs like clockwork. Animal handlers preparing lions, stagehands rigging trapdoors, officials counting coins wagered on your life. You are led beneath the arena floor, into the dark network of tunnels called the hypogeum, and for the first time today, you are truly afraid. In the dim torchlight of the hypogeum, you wait among cages of leopards and stacks of weapons. Then you see him, your opponent, and your chest tightens because you know his face. Days ago, in this very school, he shared his bread with you when you had none. He taught you how to hold your shield when your arms shook from exhaustion. He is not a stranger. He is the closest thing to a friend you have left in this world. A guard tells you both the terms. This is not a fight to the death by default, but the crowd, and only the crowd, will decide the loser's fate. Win, and you might both walk away. Lose control, show weakness, and Caesar's box will turn its thumb, and there will be no mercy. Above you, the roar of the crowd swells as the gates begin to rise. This is the moment every gladiator dreads more than death itself. Not the fear of dying, but the fear of what you must do to survive. As the sunlight floods the tunnel and the sand comes into view, you look at your friend one last time, He gives you a small nod, the kind that says he understands, the kind that says fight like you mean it. Because if you don't, the mob will smell weakness and demand blood from both of you. The gates open fully. The noise becomes deafening, thousands of voices merging into one single hungry roar. You step onto the sand together, weapons raised, and the games of Titus begin. The fight is brutal, but careful. Two men who know each other's every move, trading blows that look savage, but are measured, controlled. A dance neither of you wants to end badly. You feel the crowd's energy shift with every strike, feeding on the spectacle. Sweat burns your eyes. Your shoulder screams from the weight of your shield. Then, in a moment of exhaustion, your friend stumbles. The crowd gasps. You could end it here. Your sword hovers over his chest, and 50,000 people rise to their feet, thumbs ready to turn. This is the dilemma no training could prepare you for. Mercy or survival, friendship or the mob's approval. You look up at the Emperor's box, where Titus himself watches, unreadable. You look down at your friend, breathing hard, waiting. And in that heartbeat, you understand something no one told you in the Ludus. The sword was never really the weapon that decided your fate. The choice you make right now, in front of an empire, will follow you for the rest of your life, however long that turns out to be. You lower your sword. You extend your hand instead, pulling your friend to his feet, turning to face the Emperor's box together, two gladiators standing as equals rather than victor and victim. For a long moment, the arena is silent. Then Titus raises his hand, and the crowd erupts, not in anger, but in something closer to awe. Mercy, it turns out, can be its own kind of spectacle. You are led back into the tunnels, alive, your body broken, but your spirit intact, carrying a story that few gladiators ever get to tell. 2,000 years later, historians still argue over how many fights ended this way, how much of the crowd's bloodlust was real, and how much was theater. How many men found a version of honor, even inside an empire built on violence? But for you, standing in that dark tunnel, breathing air you weren't sure you'd breathe again, the answer is simple. You survived. Not just the fight, but the choice. And somewhere in that choice, you found a piece of yourself that Rome could never take. If you had stood on that sand, sword raised, with the crowd screaming for blood, what would you have chosen?